Demons, a word uttered from antiquity that denoted a vile agent of chaos emerging from the underbelly of the supernatural realm and the ancient labyrinthine network of evil that spans the myriad of mythologies in our planet's eternal history. Whoa, that's pretty deep from the off, right? But the fact of the matter is we cannot approach this question without firmly slapping on our theological cap, because whether or not demons are a physical manifestation on this mortal plane is a pretty clear-cut question. You can answer that one yourself, but whether they linger in the dusty tomes of ancient history inked in the pages of creation mythos and cautionary tales, well, that's a different question entirely. So let's take a look, shall we? Hello internet, what's going on? And once again, welcome back to the most inquisitive channel on YouTube, Life's Biggest Questions. As per usual, I'll be your disembodied floating voice, Jack Finches. Today, we curiously ask the question, do demons exist? It's pretty difficult for us to approach this question without first mentioning the obvious. There is no understanding of demonology. Well, certainly not the type that Constantine illustrates. And yeah, whilst I hate to burst your bubble, there's actually much more to this question than what you may have first imagined. You see, the modern interpretation of the horde of demons that we're familiar with is only one fragment of this theological puzzle, an image which is mainly perpetuated by the Abrahamic Bible and its particular prevalence in the Western world. Combined with the Industrial Revolution as well as the very physical and psychological trauma of 2 world wars, occultism saw a huge resurgence at the turn of the 20th century. You see, most of these occultists, alongside an emerging market of opportunists, were charlatans, grifters who could make a pretty penny off of the grief of this very same trauma, often blaming the culprit of these often psychological issues on demons, spectres, revenants of the dead, spirits from the ancient world that would seek out wary humans, innocent victims, and then use them as their vessels of chaos. Now, whilst this was by no means a new idea, given the fact that for hundreds of years before that, demonology was used as an excuse for some pretty heinous deeds, particularly in the case of King James I and the later Witchfinder General Matthew Hopkins. It certainly forms our modern understanding of demons though, and the so-called study of demonology that then comes with it, which, I hate to break it to you budding demonologists, doesn't exist. You see, we can't exactly approach this question from a single answer, given the fact that it is near enough impossible to do, but the so-called study of demonology certainly won't bring us any form of a conclusion. The thing is, demonology, or whatever you would imagine that sort of study to be, completely disregards one thing. The actual figure of the archetypal demon, the one that we're most familiar with, is laid down by books written by priests or kings with a particular thirst for witch or demon hunting in history, resigning them all to the realms of hell. The Christian hell, the 7 circles, where the angel Lucifer was cast down from heaven alongside his generals, where he would rule for all eternity in the fiery pits below, brimstone, pain, eternal suffering. You get the gist. Books like King James I's Demonology or the Malleus Maleficarum, written by the disgraced Catholic clergyman Heinrich Kramer in 1486, or even the Lesser Key of Solomon, often considered to be the cornerstone of all demonology that claims to be derived from the mythical demon hunter of legend King Solomon himself, but was actually compiled sometime in 1570 by a group of curious and imaginative historians. Here, these books are all the same, the 72 demons, all in a similar shape or another. King Baal, Duke Agarus, Paimon, Merax, Astaroth, Asmodee, demonic figures that make up this aspect of a very deliberate kind of demonology, but many of which were added and borrowed from other ancient religions and practices, most of them cast out and discredited by the church back in the day. But you see, that doesn't help us at all in approaching this question, because this view only gives us a single fragment of this theology, and believe it or not, these demonic entities have appeared in ancient civilizations for time untold. And for that, we need the almighty power of history. You see, the demons of mythology and ancient literature have long lingered in our civilization's forgotten history, ancient history in fact, that forms the basis of a completely different way of looking at our world. Back to a time where this question was very much a cut and shut answer. Do demons exist? Hell yes. Now get inside before they bring about a plague. Yes, certainly in certain cultures, demons are angels of the Christian image that fell from grace, but they are also malevolent genii or familiar supernatural creatures who appear as both good and evil depending on their motivation. They are the ghosts or revenants of the dead, sometimes appearing as spirits of ethereal entities not of this realm. In some cultures, they are vampires or disembodied heads with floating entrails, scouring the world on nightly hunts for the living. In ancient Mesopotamia, Mesopotamian mythology, demons were in fact deities of the sky, storm demons from Chaldea that would later go on to form the basis of demonology in Hebrew, primal creations from the netherworld. In Hinduism, demons are much more spiritual entities known as asuras, vatalas, raskashas, bhutas, celestial creatures of an ancient realm that may or may not be good or evil, with a similar occurrence in Islam, but which also takes a much more zoological approach to demonology, having different creatures of an ancient folklore that serve specific purposes and inflict both harm and bestow blessings depending on how you approach the situation. And that's the whole point of this whole thing, isn't it? You see, the question really is, from which angle do we approach this question? Who do we ask? Do demons exist to those that follow ancient Kabbalah? Very much so. Do the people of the Inuit believe that a sort of demon lingers beneath the ice, pulling in stray children? Perhaps some of them still do. Do members of Catholicism believe that a teenage boy has been possessed by the ancient Paimon, who is now leading a demonic cult from his treehouse? Yeah, I suppose that a few of them probably do actually, so we better call an exorcist. The thing is, the subjectivity of theology is an impossible puzzle piece. Our civilization has interpreted the evils of the world through many different lenses over thousands upon thousands of years, as you can very well see throughout the myriad of malevolent demons and creatures that have populated this video. Are any of their interpretations any less valid than the other? No, of course not. Do demons exist? Well, it depends on who you ask. Well, there we have it, our long and short answer to the question, do demons exist? Let us know your thoughts down in the comment section below, as well as any intriguing insights that you may have on the matter. I'm anticipating quite a few. Before we depart from today's video though, if you'd like to continue on with your questioning binge, then please take a look at our neatly compiled playlist, arranged conveniently for your viewing enjoyment. On that note, unfortunately that's all we've got time for in today's video. Cheers, stick around all the way until the end. If you were a fan of this video or just Life's Biggest Questions in general, please be a dear, hit that thumbs up button, and I'll be seeing you in the next one. As per usual, I've been your disembodied floating voice Jack Finch. You've been watching Life's Biggest Questions, and until next time, you take it easy.